Welcome to the Health and Wellness Marketplace. Here's your host, Laura Lewis.
Hello and welcome to the Health and Wellness Marketplace. I'm your host, Laura Lewis. What is the Marketplace? Well, the Marketplace is your one-stop shop for the best vitamins and supplements on the planet. And best of all, you don't even have to leave your home to get them. Throughout the course of the show, we will provide you, the viewer, information on how to obtain the items featured in the Marketplace. Of course, you can also visit our website at thehealthandwellnessmarketplace.com to learn more about the show and our guests. There's been a great deal of recent research on the importance of fish oils and omega-3 fatty acids. We'll be talking about these fantastic fats today, but first we'll be discussing how important it is for you to be taking a supplement with the essential raw materials. Many fish oils or omega-3 supplements contain fillers, preservatives, and other materials that can actually make the products less effective. There's really no point in taking a supplement unless you can receive the positive benefits. Richard, one of the reasons why I like your company is the fact that you use all of your own raw materials. Tell us about your fishing business and how you ensure the quality fish oil and omega-3 products.
Well, as you know, we are a fishing company and we catch our own sharks, and we also receive some from other local fishermen. The hardest part about quality control is a lot of companies in the health food industry say, we supervise and we, verify that the ingredients that we're buying are the best in the world. Whereas what Seagate can say is, we know the product's best because not only did we produce the raw materials ourselves, but we also process them in our own plant.
It is so hard to know when you stand in the health food store and you look at all the products, like which one do I pick and who's the best, and it is difficult. So I'm so happy to know that Seagate creates wonderful high quality products without all those other fillers. We don't even think about that, really.
Well, a lot of even the health food store owners and buyers, they haven't the slightest idea. They just go with, some of the bigger chains are going with which brand is going to give me the biggest margin on my shelf. Are they going to give me a 50% or a 60% margin? Are they going to give me specials?
Oh.
And then those companies which tend to do that are the ones that have the least amount of money invested in their product because they're just having the products pretty much private labeled. You could do a Laura Lewis shark liver oil, and you would be very similar to 90% of the health food companies out there right now because they don't see the raw material. They have it packaged. The only thing they supply is an invoice and a label.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Well, tell us about your fishing boats.
Well, we have purseine boats, and we also
What did you say now? What are they called?
Purseines.
Purseines, okay.
Yeah. We own interest in a couple of small boats. These are boats that are fishing off the coast, not actually ours, but they were prettier than ours, so I showed those.
Okay.
These guys are catching anchovies and sardines off the coast of Baja, California. I think we have another slide. And we showed this earlier on a previous show, but this is interesting because it shows catching fish. There's a dark blue dot in the middle of that round circle, which is a fish net. I was taking those pictures from a little airplane. We're up about 2,000 feet, so you can get a bird's eye view. What we're doing is catching anchovies, we're catching sardines. One of the products that we're making now is a marine protein concentrate where rather than people that are squeamish, and the American public is very squeamish about eating fish, how many of us are going to buy a can of sardines?
Yeah.
And I know this because I used to run a sardine cannery for a company. A sardine's kind of yucky, but it's one of the best foods that you can eat.
I know.
Very high in oils, high in protein. And when you cook it, what we're doing on our plant is cooking it, squeezing the oil out, most of it, saving the oil, encapsulating and freeze-drying and encapsulating the fish, and making a whole fish protein supplement in a capsule for those Americans that don't want to eat their fish every week.
That's a great alternative. Now, let's back up and talk about fish oils. Now, what are the health benefits about taking them? What's so wonderful about that? We hear a lot about that, and a lot of people know, well, I need to be taking that omega-3 fish oils, correct?
Yeah, that is probably the most important product that we process at Seagate out of the 20 that we do. There's an article that I brought, and I do this because we can't say it as a manufacturer, but we are allowed to bring articles that can make these health benefits claims. A product derived from shark liver oil used by Chinese women on their faces to keep them wrinkle-free has been picked up by one of the world's top cosmetic companies fishermen give the product to their women who use it on their faces for a smoother complexion.
Okay, so you don't think about that. So you think about internally and externally. So let's talk about both benefits, internal, external health benefits. But first of all, I'm interested in this.
Well, yeah, we started out, this was about 6 years ago, we started processing shark liver oil just because it was a byproduct of our shark fishing and shark processing. And I don't know if the camera could do a close-up of this. We have shark liver oil capsules.
Okay.
In front, they're just real pretty. They look like vitamin E capsules. And
Right.
here's shark liver oil itself.
Mm-hmm.
One got away from me.
There we go.
And what we're doing there, the easy part is taking the livers, which used to be thrown away. We're just making better use of the raw material that we're catching, cooking them, siphoning off the oil, and that's the easy part. The hard part is to remove the heavy metals because, unfortunately, sharks are a higher order predator, and they come laced with PCBs, pesticides, 400 different pesticides in the ocean waters off of California.
PCBs, those are from petrol, oil products?
Yeah, these are all
bad things.
Yeah, they come from transformers, batteries.
Oh, okay.
The problem that's going on in a lot of American cities and also in foreign cities is they use the midnight valve. Companies that don't want to pay $800 for toxic waste cleanup. You know, a 55-gallon drum right now costs $800 to $1,000 to have a company come pick it up and process those wastes. So what they do, a lot of these companies, is at midnight, that's why they call it the midnight valve, they open up their sewer line and they dump this down the drain, and it ends up eventually in our oceans. And, you know, you hear about the sewage treatment plants, they do primary and secondary treatment. All they're doing is removing the garbage and aerating the product. They're not removing the heavy metals.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we'll be back to talk more about that. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with Richard Lentz.
Seagate Olive Leaf Throat Spray is a natural homeopathic medicine for the temporary relief of colds, mouth, and throat irritations. Independent laboratory testing shows olive leaf throat spray to be a potent antimicrobial without the side effects of prescription drugs. Seagate processes a variety of health food products made from their own organic farm and fishing operations. Ask for Seagate in your local health food store or call toll-free 1-888-505-4283 because your health matters.
Now, we have a couple of questions from the viewers for you today, Richard. So here is our first question.
Should I take Seagate shark liver oil?
Should I take Seagate shark liver oil? And, of course, your answer is?
He looked like he could use it, that guy. He was jumping around. Well, one of the reasons for shark liver oil, and it's because it has a very high level of omega-3s. You hear about EPA and DHA. The reason that is important is because these are some of the actual building blocks of our brain and spinal cord.
You know, a lot of people don't know, but our brain and spinal cord, there's a myelin sheath, which is actually made of fat, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the actual component of the nerves themselves are EPA and DHA omega-3s. So they found that from the very young, you know, kids, even pregnant mothers, need high levels of omega-3s because of the developing brains in the fetuses.
Right.
Mothers that have been using that while they were pregnant, the kids that 3-4 years old had lower level of attention deficit, had greater vision, less behavioral problems. And then you can jump ahead to the very old. They found that people that had more omega-3s in their diets had a lower tendency to have Alzheimer's and other diseases that were affecting
the brain. You know, wouldn't it be nice that people knew that if we had billboards that said, take omega-3 fatty acids to preserve your brain, as well as for growing children and women that are pregnant? I mean, it is something, honestly, you and I might know, you know, but a lot of people don't really read about that and see that often. It's not that our headlines say that on the front of our newspapers these days, so I wish it would. I wish it would say, take omega-3 fatty acids. I know that taking omega-3s is one of the benefits is preventing arrhythmias or irregular heartbeats. Tell me about some research that you've studied regarding omega-3s and heart disease.
Yeah, we brought another article here. We can put it up on the screen. This one was called The Prevention of Fatal Arrhythmias in High-Risk Subjects. Omega-3 fatty acids in fish have been demonstrated to have antiarrhythmic properties and to prevent sudden cardiac death in patients who have suffered a heart attack. That's people that already had heart attacks that might have a second heart attack.
Okay.
For those who stayed on the omega-3s for at least 11 months, the antiarrhythmic benefit of fish oil resulted in a 38% risk reduction.
Okay, and to arrhythmia is when there's an irregular heartbeat,
Irregular
right? Okay.
heartbeat.
Okay.
Yeah, what they found was it might not, they didn't have the study on people before they had their first heart attack, but people before they had their second heart attack, it reduced the incidence of second heart attacks of people that already had first heart attacks.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
And you know, it's probably, you know, they don't really know what the reason is, but because you're controlling the nerves and you're controlling the brain and the spinal column, that there's probably some mechanism that's actually controlling the regularity of the heartbeat that's involved with it. But like I said before, if we had to pick one product that we make that's the most important, it's shark liver oil.
Okay, and it also helps with reducing cholesterol. Is that correct? Plaquing cholesterol. Does that have something to do with that?
Yeah, and it almost doesn't make sense because you think, you know, you're taking an oil and you're going to reduce cholesterol. But yes, if you take fish oil, if you eat fatty fish on a regular basis, you're going to have a much lower level of cholesterol. I was trying to get my cholesterol down. My doctor said I had 190, and he wanted me to get it down to 160. So I take on a regular basis every day 3 shark liver oil capsules every day. And I take grapeseed extract, which is also good for reducing
Very
cholesterol.
nice. Very nice. What about the Mediterranean study, the diet of the Mediterraneans?
Yeah, the Mediterranean diet is important. We brought another slide. The diet rich in omega-3s and various antioxidant benefits the prevention of cardiovascular diseases by reducing cholesterol and blood pressure, reducing inflammation, prevent plaque formation in the arteries, and protect against abnormal heart rate and heart failure. What the Mediterranean diet has been popular because this is people that, you know, the French and the Italians and the Greeks, they eat, these are diets very high in fish oils, also very high in olive oils.
Right.
You heard about the French paradox, where the French smoke a lot, they drink a lot, but they have very low levels of heart attacks. Well, they believe part of that is because of the effect of the proanthocyanidins in grapes. But I think part of that...
What was that word again?
Proanthocyanidins.
you say that like it's just natural, like you're just saying flour or something. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a component because when they make red wine, they're actually fermenting the grapes with the seeds and the skins. But I think part of that is not only because of the grapes and the proanthocyanidins, but it's also because these same people have a very high diet in fish and omega-3 fatty acids.
So it's very rich in all those wonderful things. I have some friends that just got back from Paris, by the way, and they were observing. They sat on the side in the sidewalk cafes, living that wonderful lifestyle, you know, the French do, which they know how to relax. Don't you wish there were more sidewalk cafes in the United States? And they noticed that they were all lean, they looked healthy, and when they would see someone that was grossly overweight, what would it be? An American.
Yeah,
an
exactly.
American. It was atypical to see people that were grossly overweight there, too. I love the idea about the Mediterranean-style diet. As a matter of fact, I even talked to another person the other day that was talking about regular American diets, and she was from France. She was just like, oh, I just can't stand the American food. Give me my wine. Give me my olive oil. Give me my fish. And she also did say chocolate, by the way. And I'm fine. I'm fine. So it was really, really interesting. We're going to go ahead and take another short break, but then we'll be right back. Now, there's been a lot of news about omega-3s and heart health lately, but I don't think that people are fully aware of the other benefits of taking omega-3s. Richard, you brought in a fascinating study. Tell us what you've learned recently about the use of omega-3s.
Well, I want to slide that this slide is important because a lot of the products we're making are a result of this information. Our studies support the use of omega-3 fatty acid supplementation in combination with vitamin E as a strategy to protect against the hazardous UV-induced effects, notably skin cancer. What they're saying and what we're doing is we're actually making omega-3 topical products combined with vitamin E, and the reason being that shark liver oil has to have an antioxidant compound in order to protect the oils, because all oils will oxidize.
Okay.
So we put in a 1-2% level of vitamin E.
A natural antioxidant.
Natural
okay.
antioxidant.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
In with the shark liver oil, and then we combine it into, we now, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, we make a burn product, a topical burn product, which is a homeopathic product, not just for sunburns, but it's not a preventative of sunburns because it doesn't have a UV rating. Although that article does say that you can prevent ultraviolet damage by using omega-3s. We use it also in smooth skin for women as both a day and a night moisturizer. And this was our first topical product. From that, we discovered that it was also using it with olive oil, antifungal, antibacterial, and also it was, so we made a homeopathic, antifungal, anti-rash product, which finally led to this spray for babies for a diaper rash remedy. And
Isn't that great?
And these are all based on using omega-3 fatty acids as the base with either vitamin E, olive oil, and all other natural products in there, coconut oil too.
Yeah, I love your story about, isn't this the product that the babies took that to their mothers and said, please, can you put this on me?
Yeah, the mobile babies after they've used it, because
Right.
the effect is immediate, because rather than putting on zinc oxide or Vaseline petroleum jelly, which is goopy, and babies also, when you're rubbing it on the diaper rash, you're going to further irritate them. This one, the relief is almost immediate. And I've used this product myself when I've had skin rashes, and you can feel, the itchiness going away immediately. So some of the babies that were toddlers walking around will go back and look for that bottle after they've had their mother use it.
Feels good. I want that, not the other. Okay. We have another viewer question for you, so let's head back out to the health food store.
Can I take marine protein instead of eating fish?
Ah, you talked about that earlier, marine protein instead of eating fish.
Yeah, he's seen that new product in a health food store here in Texas. What I would do is the opposite. If you can't get fish, then go for the marine protein. But I wouldn't substitute it for a normal fish diet. We're really a supplement to healthy eating. I'm not trying to convert the American diet into eating capsules only. But yes, you could take 10 capsules and have 20% of your recommended daily protein allowance by taking those capsules. But
now what percentage now?
It's about 15 to 20%. Depends on, I've seen different levels of the recommended daily allowance for protein. But you can get away with eating a lot of those capsules, and we don't have any heavy metals in them because they come from sardines or anchovies, and the omega-3s in there are completely clear of heavy metals. But no, I wouldn't substitute it from eating a fish meal. However, what I do is I can't eat maybe more than one fish meal a week, so I'm going to take those fish capsules every single day anyway.
Right, because we're not inclined to have fish every day. That's not a typical American program. Now, I found this question from a viewer particularly interesting, and I'm sure it's one that you would love to answer. Take a look.
A lot of different companies make a lot of different products. How do I know which one's best?
Ah, see, I told you about that earlier. It is. How do you know?
Yeah, in fact, it's hard enough for a customer to know, but it's just as hard for a health food store to know. Most of the products coming at health food stores have fancy labels, boxes, expensive ad campaigns. And what we do as a rule of thumb is say, ask the consumer, you can't tell by looking at a package and looking at the ingredients. A lot of companies don't even put the real ingredients on the labels, as we found out with the lawsuits. The way they should do it is call that company up and ask them, did they actually produce the raw materials, process those raw materials themselves, or are they buying it from a third-party source? And if they are, how do they even know that the product that they're buying is what is being said on the label? It's very, very difficult these days. It's not like the health food industry when we first started in the early 1990s was more of the hippies in Boulder, Colorado, gathering their little herbs up in the mountains of Colorado. And these were companies that were just trying to do the best job, and most of them had hands on the raw materials and were producing it themselves. Now we've gone into a phase in the health food industry where it's very difficult to tell the difference between health foods and mass market.
Sure.
There are very few health food companies that actually process it themselves, very few mass market companies that do too. It's all come down to advertising. So yeah, call the company and ask them, do they do it themselves, and can they supply lab reports to prove it?
Yeah, hopefully they'll be honest when they answer that question. We're going to take a quick break right now, but then we'll be back with more questions for Richard.
At Seagate, we grow organic broccoli sprouts on our own farm and freeze-dry and process the sprouts in our own plant. Broccoli should be a part of your daily diet, providing high levels of sulforaphane, one of nature's strongest anti-cancer nutrients. Seagate broccoli capsules are a convenient and inexpensive way to take your daily serving, and you don't even have to taste them. Call 888-505-4283 to request information on Seagate's products and to place an order, or have your local health food store order these products for you. That's 888-505-4283.
Welcome back. Now, Richard, your company tests all of your products to make sure they're pure. Tell us about your testing process.
We use outside independent labs. We also test other companies' products, too. In fact, that threw us into a $20 million lawsuit 10 years ago with a shark cartilage company because we found, just as I said before, a lot of companies don't produce their own raw materials, and they were putting real shark cartilage on the label. And we found that, in fact, that it was cut with fillers, that they were saying 50% protein. It was actually 25% protein.
Wow.
That's the problem that's out there. And so we have a huge budget for independent lab testing. On our tomatoes right now, we're doing lycopene analyses. We're also testing for solvents, and we found that a lot of these lycopene supplements have 15 to 50 parts per million of ethyl acetate as a residual solvent, which is not on the label. So
my goodness.
We're big into testing, and we have a huge budget for it.
Oh my goodness, you don't think about that, solvents. Okay. Tell us about the omega-3 study.
Omega-3s is probably the most studied health food product on the internet. We brought along one last one to show people. In addition to being able to protect against abnormal heart rates, omega-3 fatty acids protect against clot formation and are anti-inflammatory. This is from the American Family Physician. What that's also saying is not only have we shown that it's good for topically, it's good for heart attacks, it's good for your brain, it's good for Alzheimer's, it's good for young kids with attention deficit, it's good for pregnant women, but there's almost no application that it isn't good for. If there is a product that I would take on a regular basis without any other supplement, it would be omega-3s.
Yeah, omega-3s, just essential fatty acids. And people don't think about that, but we've got to reprogram them about fats. Good fats now, good fats, good fat for your blood. That the essential fats actually are assisting and preventing that clot formation. I found that really wonderful, fabulous. I wish that everybody that has heart troubles and high cholesterol should get on essential fatty acids such as omega-3s.
Yeah, essential fatty acids are fatty acids that your body doesn't produce themselves.
Hence the word essential, right?
Has to be consumed.
Has to be consumed. We have to have it in our diet. And I'm very interested. I love all the things that you've presented here relative to topical as well as internal. You know, if someone watching the show right now doesn't start taking omega-3s and start using it on their skin, I don't know how else we could convince them otherwise, because for me personally, I have essential fatty acids in my diet on a daily basis. It's very important. Try to get them down my children. Yeah, because we're not inclined to have fish every day in our society. Those folks, and especially with the dangers that exist right now that we're alerted to about fish too. So this sort of cuts that out and gives us the benefits, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's one thing that we do offer to viewers, and it's the only product that we have that we have a sample of, our smooth skin product. Just call our office and ask for a free sample, and we can send a little tube out to you. Oh,
isn't that nice? And also, omega-3s don't have the side effects that aspirin does for the anti-clotting as well, do they?
No side effects, as long as, not even for most people that are allergic to fish probably won't even have a side effect for that one.
Thank you, Richard. That's all the time we have today on the show. If you'd like to learn more about Seagate and all of their amazing products they offer, you can call them at 888-505-GATE, which is 4283, or visit their website at www.seagateproducts.com. Richard, thank you for stopping by the Health and Wellness Marketplace. And to all of you at home, thank you for visiting the market as well. We're open again tomorrow, the same time, same place, so be sure to tune in. And don't forget to tell your friends about us. I'm Laura Lewis. See you next time on the Health and Wellness Marketplace. Have a great day.
Very nice.